Hey guys, this is Stacy from Easy Acupuncture School. I'm doing something really quick. It's been a long I'm finishing a 10-hour shift and um there was just something I wanted to do real quick. Today is November the 6th and unfortunately like every patient I've had today has wept during their treatment. So I've been doing trauma treatments all day, and it's a little bit of a sad day in our country. Um, this isn't a political channel, it's an acupuncture channel, so I don't want any political comments on this post. Um, but I've done more trauma treatments today than I probably do typically in a year. And what I wanted to do is tell you a little bit about what trauma treatments are, because maybe some of you out there are experiencing some of the same stuff that I am. And I just want to give you some info so you can better treat your patients. So, what is a trauma treatment? Trauma treatments are something. It was a type of treatment that I learned from Jeffrey Yuen years ago, and it's basically for when your patient experiences some kind of heart shock, some kind of surprise trauma, something. Let me give you some examples. Like I have been working at the bakery all day for 12 hours. Then I get home, I'm exhausted, and my partner, husband, wife tells me, I don't love you anymore, after 9 years, or they want to break up after 9 years. or here's another example. I went to work at my job, and at the end of the day, my boss calls me in and he fires me. No warning, I'm fired. I'm laid off. What am I going to do? So situations like this, of dear loved one suddenly passes away. These are the typical times that I think of trauma treatments. But today, it seemed like those were the best things that suited or fitted my patients. So I'm going to just tell you how to do them. These are considered to be more for an acute, one-time only treatment. I mean, if you do it, two times on somebody, it's not going to kill them. But typically, traditionally, what they were supposed to be is you initially do this treatment, and then the next time you see the person, you engage on whatever treatment plan you're working with to help with their shin, if that's what they're coming in for. But what happens, let me back up. I'm putting the cart in front of the horse. What happens when you experience some kind of shock or trauma is your chi. You've heard me talk about this in other lectures, but your chi and blood scatters. So sometimes you need to consolidate that in to allow your further treatments that you're going to progress with to work a little better. So the trauma treatment involves, and I'm going to go over why these points are being used. Uh, there's kidney 27 up here at the top, or 26, and then we go to kidney 16, and then kidney 9, and kidney 6. And then I'm going to talk about a couple of points that are cheating a little bit. But kidney 27, sometimes when you study it, I initially heard that it was the master point. And I was like, what does that mean? And then anyway, I was like, what does that mean is the master point? And more of it think of it in this context. And this is more of a J.R. Worsley context from the Five Element School. But the Kidney 27, I've got a little notes over here, guys, that I just scribbled down on with my lab during my last patient session when they were on the table. So I'm going to kind of look at these a little bit to tell you. Like 27 is considered the master point because, oh, let me, here's what I wanted to read you. I'm sorry, it's on my phone instead. 27 is translated into storehouse, and it's when someone's spirit is depleted. It helps to tonify the spirit. Kidney 26 is, oh, so you don't use both of these. You don't use 27 and 26. It's either or, which one ever fits the your patient that day. 26 is translated into admit amidst elegance. add a mist, meaning like within elegance. And that's if a person has a lack of sense of beauty or grace or self-respect. So today I've been really using 27 a lot because everyone's spirit is so depleted. The kidney 16, it's right on the umbilicus. You can't see me, but I'm pointing at my navel. And what that does is help consolidate, bring the chi and the energy into the middle jiao as part of an earth school type treatment. But also it works with the conception vessel. It's a meeting point of the conception vessel. And the conception vessel is the conception vessel is more about I'm looking for at something else because I oh, it's a penetrating. I'm sorry. Penetrating. So penetrating a kidney connection. Um, I'm sorry about saying conception vessel. It's just been a long day. I apologize. I'm a little tired. Um, but the penetrating vessel is all about, you hear about that, it's like the sea of blood, and then often we think about the sea of blood, or just blood in general being the transmission of Shin. It's the fluid of the heart. So in some schools they really talk about how Shin travels along the blood. So kidney 16, like I said, is connecting with the penetrating vessel, and it's connecting with that aspect of the Shin in the blood, or calming the Shin. And then we have kidney 9. Kidney 9's a very fascinating and awesome point. It's called, when you look at the translation, it's guest house. And when that was introduced to me, they talked about how sometimes we have like a little cottage with a fence around there. There's a gate. A lot of times in the Japanese culture, not Japanese, I'm sorry, Chinese culture, um, you would have a little guest house, maybe in some of the more affluent neighborhoods, and there'd be a little fence around them with a gate. Gate swings back and forth. It lets the guest in, lets the guest out. And sometimes that gate can represent our boundaries, or who we let in and who we let out. But sometimes we have friends that come hang out at our guest house, and we have to drive them out because they're overstaying their welcome. So anyway, you think about that point being called guest house, and you think about the gate to the guest house, letting things in and out. And kidney nine can be used for toxicity, letting toxicity in and out, or more so out, because we really don't want any toxicity coming in. But sometimes different types of toxicity, I'm not just talking about chemical toxicity, I'm talking about emotional toxicity, can be in our system and can block our way to getting to a better place. So kidney nine is about letting that toxicity out so we can progress to a better point. And then we've got kidney 6, which is involved with the conception vessel. And the conception vessel, one of the things that we think about is one of the aspects of the conception vessel, or the Renmai, is providing this feeling of safety, of comfort. I think it was first described to me as a mom putting a snuggly little blanket the around you and sitting you in your lap, in her lap, not your lap, sitting you in her lap and making you feel safe. And that's the conception vessel. There's something to that where it's about safety, maternal safety. Um, and if someone's out there, which I hate to hear, if they're like, well, my mom was horrible to me, then it's about who made you feel safe. And that's something that the conception best is about. A couple of other points that I used today, and it's kind of it's a little bit cheating, but they didn't mess anything up, and then they were appropriate. I used liver 4 a lot because a lot of people were experiencing some frustration with um, with what they were experiencing emotionally. And you think about liver 4 is a metal point on the liver. Liver's about frustration. Metal points about metal controls wood. So it's about helping the liver control some of the pathogenic energy, the pathogenic liver energy, the frustration. And the other point that I used was yin tong. If you guys have watched any of my lectures, you know I love me some yin tong. It's just a great calming point. So those are the points for trauma treatment. Usually you use that one time, and it's more of an acute during the acute phase of the trauma, right after somebody has immediately experienced it. But I've used it for someone at least 3 weeks out from their trauma. I had a person that was traveling in, I think, South America, and they witnessed somebody getting shot, and they might have been not the person, but the person being shot might have been killed. So they were traumatized by that. I've used it also on people. I had a patient that came in, and on her way to my office, she saw somebody get hit by a car, which was very traumatic for her. I've used, I've used, I feel like I've used it for somebody a few months out from their trauma. I mean, I don't know the longevity of how long a person's trauma, you know, can be. I feel like if somebody's had a trauma and is in a state where their chi and blood has been scattered even for months or a year, you probably could do this first to help consolidate and then continue on the next time you saw them with a different treatment, not lecture, sorry, different treatment. Um, so anyway, guys, that's just a little bit about it. 27 or 26, kidney 16, that's kidney 27 or 26, kidney 16, kidney 9, and kidney 6. That is the traditional treatment. And like I said, I added in liver 4 if there was frustration. That's just me. It's not anybody smart. That's just me. Or and yin top. I always add that because that really makes people feel good. But anyway, guys, go out, help somebody, go out and be kind. And always remember, you know, let your light shine, because sometimes for our patients, we're the only light that they have to help them along their journey. So let your light shine even when you don't feel like it's shining that much. All right, guys, be well.